Hey guys, I'm Rick, and that is One Big Pile of Bricks with our amazing guest, Season 3 contestant, Dawei. Dawei, how you
Hi,
doing,
everyone.
man?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Welcome.
That's all good, man. How's things? How's life after the whirlwind that was Lego Masters?
Yeah, it's it's really a crazy experience when you're going through. Whoops, a crazy experience when you go through like the whole filming process and you see yourself like on the show and whatnot. And then afterwards, we've got like Lego Expos happening now, so just trying to get a good build together, so not to like embarrass ourselves or Lego Masters brand.
You'd never
You
embarrass
would ne-
yourself.
I think,
Come on now.
like, from the filming aspect anyway, you were doing a lot of the building from what we could see. Is that right or not? Or, like, was it a team effort, or how did you go?
Yeah, we just with the sheer volume of stuff that we had to do, it was one of those things where you just had to kind of like split the tasks and and just trying to do it solo, like just after a while we just like realized, oh no, it's just you had to work together as a team, otherwise you never get anything done. In fact, yeah, Brickman came around a couple of times, goes, you probably need to divide and conquer a little bit. So,
Brickman make you nervous sometimes? It's like, hey, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, it's so anytime he says something like you're like, oh, that's a really good point, or he says, oh, that's probably not a good idea, and then you're like, oh, I better stop that immediately, type of thing.
well, I feel like you guys portrayed yourselves pretty well on on TV.
Thanks.
It's pretty hard, like, I don't think the general population listening and watching at home understand the pressure cooker type environment that is Lego Masters. Everyone thinks it's easy, but
not
obviously
easy.
it's not, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a really good point. Like, I do a lot of wedding photography as a side kind of hustle.
Yeah.
And I do. I've been deployed for army service as well.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, but all those is like very different type of pressure and very different type of stress compared to Lego Masters. Lego Masters, I think that what's unique about the pressure cooker situation is that there's cameras on you 24/7.
Yes.
like literally, you're being recorded the whole time. Your camera's on you the whole time. So, in other pressure situations I've been in, you at least can, swear to yourself or release,
Yeah. You have to be very, very aware of your surroundings and what they're going to pick up on.
Yeah, definitely. So, definitely a very unique pressure cooker situation, and also because you got all of Australia then kind of watching your escapades, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
You want to make sure that you don't come across as like doing really badly or doing a terrible job or whatnot. So there's that added pressure of delivering and performing as well.
Yes, of course. And you're probably looking at everyone else and thinking that they've got it all under control, and you're thinking, oh gee, am I the only one that's second guessing myself? But really, probably the rest of them are in the same situation as you, right?
Yeah. We're all kind of like very under pressure the whole time. Although one thing that Amy and I think we're a little bit behind the other teams with was our innate technical skills going into the competition. So technically, we're probably, from a technical perspective, we're probably behind, and as a result, we had to work so much harder just to kind of stay afloat and keep up with everyone else. And everyone.
Well, didn't really show on TV. Firstly, thank you for your service for, being in the army. That's amazing. Not many people, like, that's a big deal. I don't think you...
It's a big deal.
I think it's a big deal, but it's a big deal, right? Do you
Thanks.
think being in the army prepared you for Lego Masters? Do you think it helped being to stay cool under pressure because you look like you had it under control? Like, you didn't lose it on TV. That's the main thing, right? Like...
Yeah. There were definitely times when I was just like, oh my god, head's gonna explode type of thing, and running around like a headless chook type of thing.
Didn't look that way at all, did it?
Thanks.
You guys did I think you guys did a good job. I think it's hard to look back on an experience that was so under pressure. And, like, the problem is with the Lego community, they overanalyze everything. So they're going to criticize what they see on TV. They're not going to understand what's going on in the background, how hot it was on the day, lack of food, lack of water, all that stuff that goes into those kind of builds.
That's right.
To pull through and come back, and, obviously you got eliminated and you came back. That's a big deal. Like, I don't think many people could have pulled it off.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
Because when you finish and you say your goodbyes and you walk away, you think that's it. I'm done, and you don't expect to go back into that situation and perform again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely a lot like a very roller coaster emotion type moment. Because we thought we were done, like cooked out of there.
Yeah.
And then and then it was
Surprise!
Surprise. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, well, is this actually happening? Type of thing. So yeah, it was a very good surprise. And then just then having to like keep everything like hush to not ruin.
Of course.
Well, and it's hard too because, like, obviously Lego community, it's easy for things to get leaked out. Like, I hear things now about season 4 because it's sort of drips feeds out the way, you know, and it's, I think, too, the way they managed to keep most of the contestants under wraps, besides, you know, like Ryan Evans has been circulating for a long time because he applied for nearly every season to get on, right?
Yeah.
So everyone kind of assumed it was his time, which is good because they did reasonably well, you know?
Yeah.
I think, too, that coming in not really knowing what to expect, you guys did reasonably well job.
Oh, thanks so much.
Very difficult situation for anyone to be put in.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate
No,
it.
I understand. Like, we saw the social media stuff that poor Fleur and Sarah copped, you know, like that's a big part of it. Like, social media is a beast sometimes that you can't control, and that's an unfortunate side effect. And I think you guys managed to handle yourselves well, and I do believe it's hard to get portrayed on TV a certain way, especially when they're like pushing cameras in your face, asking the same thing 150
and you've
times.
got all the, not only do you have Facebook and Instagram, then you've got forums like Reddit, who are people who don't even know the situation are putting up their own theories about what they think has happened between contestants, or why these people weren't talking to each other or communicating it, and then they come up with their own, you know, ideas of what they think has gone on.
Yeah,
you have to deal with that as well, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Was there anything they filmed that didn't reach TV that you were unhappy about, that you would have liked people to see? Like, more of your backstory, less Lamborghini footage, you know?
I like the Lamborghini.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. We actually did like a segment at Amy's house with her succulent collection.
Oh, really?
That unfortunately never made it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Because you were, like, obviously, you know, you're fortunate enough to have a Lamborghini, and everyone always brings it up in every conversation, me included. Like, today when you were visiting, I'm like, where's the Lambo? Like,
yeah, they see all that, but they don't understand you're an auditor, you do the wedding photography, you're part-time in the army. I shouldn't say part-time, reserves in the army. You're doing all these other things, and it's not like you just have that 9-to-5 job. The income's coming from somewhere else as well.
Yeah, with the social media comments, most of us, we went through relatively unscathed in terms of dodge a bullet there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But yeah, particularly felt bad for Sarah and Fleur, who probably copped a disproportionate amount of what I thought was quite unfair and irrelevant comments, I thought. And I think what often happens is people don't realise the impact they have when they, you know, write comments on social media. I guess... you know, it was like, I remember Kevin Rudd once said, like, you know, I don't mind you taking the mickey out of me, as in Kevin Rudd, but don't target, you know, X, Y, and Z. I think certain people in public life, they go into it expecting that. Not to say it's excusable.
Yeah.
There's a certain level of, like, if you're, you know, Scott Morrison, Kevin Rudd or whatever, you expect to cop it, and, you know, you have social media teams who are also managing the whole process, but... Yeah, when you're talking about individuals, it's just them looking at the comments themselves, reading themselves. So, yeah, some of the comments I thought were quite, borderline inappropriate in a lot of situations.
Yeah, we had a few where we had to pull people up and contact parents, because some of them were like young kids.
Yeah, right.
You know, you're just like, hey, don't say that. Like, and, you know, I'm sure you could see it if it was still up there, but some of it was quite hurtful. And poor Sarah and Fleur copped quite a lot of... You know, we've spoken about Sarah's ones previously, like, copped quite a lot, unfortunate. But, you know, she's pulled through, and Fleur's doing well from what I can see online, so it looks like they've sort of come out, not unscathed, but they're doing okay, I guess is the way to look at it. Especially with everything that comes with being on a national TV show, which is the #1 TV show at the time, because it's Lego, and it's Lego Masters, you know? Definitely. It's a machine in itself.
Definitely.
I just think they managed to pull it off, and I'm glad that, like... They're doing fine, and it didn't turn out, unfortunately, because that's what no one really would have wanted, right?
No.
Like,
definitely. And it turned out fine for you as well, right? Afterwards.
Yeah. It was a very positive experience. I mean, you know, I said this in another forum as well, but with Sarah and Fleur, when we started off in Lego Masters, in terms of the whole experience, I distinctly remember, you know, Sarah was probably the one that stood out in terms of the person who, in that initial kind of getting to know each other phase, it was really friendly, really warm, really try to, like, be that kind of friendly person that we could all kind of interact and talk with and get to know. And, like, similarly, Fleur, you know, in the after we went through the whole process together, Fleur actually organised like a kind of like a celebratory type of gift for everyone. Like
that's cool. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
custom minifigure for everyone that had Lego Masters on it. So I think, like, people don't see that kind of behind the scenes, like how you know, very passionate, very
thoughtful too.
Yeah, very thoughtful and kind people behind the scenes, unfortunately.
And what what drew you to apply for Lego Masters? That's what I really want to know. Like, what made you go, I want to be on TV? Because it's a big call, especially after seeing 2 seasons before you and seeing, unfortunately what happened with poor Kale. Like, were you hesitant, or were you like, yeah, let's go, I want to do it?
Yeah. Because I thought my technical skills weren't quite up to the level required, I actually wanted to apply for this series, like Series 4.
Oh, wow, cool. Yeah, cool.
Series 4. But the producers actually came across Amy first, and they asked Amy, anyone who's into Lego, and she suggested myself.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I was like, might as well give it a crack. Like,
Yes.
you probably won't get that opportunity again. Producers like come knocking. Like, I'd love to join in. I thought, we're probably a bit underdone in the preparation stakes, but once in a lifetime opportunity would be great. For myself, I've always been... Well, I only really got back into Lego very recently after, the so-called dark ages.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, absolutely loved Lego. Back then, I think with most families, or like your kind of middle-class families, Lego is quite an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
It can be
It
quite
is,
expensive.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so I remember at the time, like, you don't have the luxury as an adult to buy whatever you want. As a kid, you kind of get the occasional Christmas present or the birthday present. And I remember I used to savor those little things I got from a Lego perspective. And you had to rely on your imagination to build things with the what limited supplies you had, Lego brick-wise. So, yeah, I had a lot of passion for Lego as a kid. And then went away for a while, did some, schoolwork.
Schoolwork, obviously. Like, you got to give yourself more credit. Like, you're doing well. Like, your parents must be proud. Like, you've done exceptionally well, right? Like, not many people can say, one, that they're, obviously an auditor, doing the ADF, drive a Lambo, which is amazing, and like be on Lego Masters, right? Like, that's like the ultimate dream. You've done everything that you ever wanted, right? Is that right? Like,
although seeing your like Lego store, Lego headquarters, I don't know.
It's taken us a long time to get to where we are today, and we've got amazing stuff. Obviously, we've got camera people, Dan and Jason, who help us out, and we've got an amazing team that like carry us. I don't think without the team we wouldn't be where we are today, because.
Right.
It's all about teamwork, and that's where everyone gets to where they are,
That's right. And that's the same with you. You wouldn't be where you are today if it was not for hard work and determination and dedication, right?
Thanks.
I think that's one of the main reasons I wanted to get you on the podcast, because I think it's very easy to gloss over people who are like, he's got a flashy car, but there's never really a reason how you got there. Like, you worked hard, and I think people need to understand that. It wasn't overnight.
It doesn't just come to you, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think definitely, if I think back, there's been too many times when I'm in the office till like 5 a.m. and all of a sudden you're the last person in the office, or you're doing a wedding, and you just, like, when you're photographing weddings, you just have to get absolutely flogged. But along the way you learn a lot, and you gain a lot of experience and a lot of life skills, and you develop, like, both professionally and personally. So definitely it's been a hard slog, but at the same time, I've also got a lot out of it from a personal development perspective. So, definitely don't regret any of the things that I've done over the years. Yeah.
I think that's what people don't realise, that a lot of hard work goes into what you do to get where you've gotten to. I do remember a few months ago you came to visit us in the store, your phone rang and you said, oh, sorry guys, I've just got to go, and you sat in your car for, it was a good hour, but you were doing work that whole time. And then after you sort of came back in briefly, we did what you needed to do, then you left and you went to training for the Army Reserve. So it wasn't like you were leaving to go home to relax for your own time, was it?
Yeah, it's sometimes I'm a bit of one of those kind of jack of all trades, master of none people, unfortunately. Just got a lot of kind of fingers in different pies, but it can get a bit crazy. So I'm probably not the best person in relation to, like organization, time management and whatnot. I think partly because I tend to overcommit. I try and get my fingers in so many different pies, and as a result, it's kind of held together by sticky tape.
Oh, you think it's held together, but I think you're doing a great job.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, also, like, what made you decide to get into wedding photography? It's like completely different. You're like an auditor, and then what makes you go, I want to do weddings? It's like so random. It's just like a random offshoot.
Yeah. I started photography back in uni days when when I was like a president of the photography club at the time.
Yeah.
Really fun and great experience. And then after a while, people start asking you to like photograph things, and then suddenly become weddings. Now I continue photographing weddings because you feel like you're adding a lot of value, right? In the corporate sector, what you do adds a lot of value, but you don't see it immediately. Like you just you fill out a form, you fill out like a report, and then it's kind of like, oh, does anyone care about this? People do, but it's not immediate impact. Whereas with weddings, every ounce of sweat and effort you put in is a tangible memory or product for the customer, for the client. So yeah, you know, it's been so many times when later on they're like, oh, you know, so and so elderly family members passed away, but we're so appreciative of the photos that you took of them at our wedding. And things like that.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. What an amazing feeling, right?
good.
Like,
yeah, quite rewarding.
especially like coming from, you know, obviously you're doing Lego Masters and you want to be no more than just, oh, that's the guy that was on Lego Masters, because it's obviously more and more. There's going to be more seasons and more, you know, Lego Masters overseas episodes.
So
yeah, we got there in the end.
You're going to be able to sit back and enjoy the next series.
Yeah. I can't wait to see the next series and what's in store.
From what I understand, it will be a good one. That's what I've been hearing. But, you know, like, every year they're like, it's going to be the best one. Like, you know, and every year they're going to try and, like, because we've chatted to other people and they're like, oh, yeah, they're doing well. But I think, too, the aim is to outdo the previous seasons.
Yeah.
Well, come on now. Like, how can they beat season 3? I mean, really?
Well, that's right. The bigger thing I wanted to ask overall, though, were you happy with the Lego Masters experience? Are you happy on the way out? Like, would you reapply again if you had the chance, if there was an All-Star season?
Yeah, definitely. I think I probably didn't do well enough to get in the All-Stars, but, you know, hypothetically, like, for sure. I think you know, it's not something that was without challenge and without you know, hardship, and a lot of times a lot of kind of stress and like just getting flogged trying to get things done. But yeah, but no, it's just such a like unique experience, such a like a you know, it's like I remember like what George Lucas, favorite director, said in an interview once. He's like, you know, you can go spend your money and like buy a flashy car or whatever, and you get that kind of high temporarily.
Yeah.
But then it's very much different from, you know, creating something long lasting that leaves that like lasting kind of legacy that gives you happiness for a long time. I think you know, having that experience, being on Lego Masters, and you know, being able to tell your kids one day, oh, hey, look, you know, your dad was on TV or whatever. Yeah. I think that's a really like, you know, long lasting thing. So I'm incredibly grateful to like the producers and the production company and the Channel 9, etc. in Mulshine for basically giving me the opportunity to be part of the experience of being part of the program. Because I think, you know, what especially drove me was there's so many people who have applied for the show but just weren't able to get in, and you know, so I feel so fortunate to be able to give them that unique opportunity when so many people miss out. So that, you know, really drove me to try and do the best job I possibly could and not waste the opportunity, so to speak. Yeah.
What an amazing thing. Well, I think that covers everything, right, Carol? Is everything about Dawei?
I think so.
So, Dawei, before we head off, how do people contact you? Social media for if they want to book you for a wedding? Is that how it works?
Yeah, sure. I kind of.
He's like, oh no, I'm going to be overwhelmed now.
Yeah, my Lego Masters Instagram is Lego Nerd Burger.
We'll put a link down the bottom because it is hard to say. I was trying to look it up earlier. Like, how am I going to say that? I didn't want to try it. So.
All good. But yeah, no, if you you know, if they have a wedding, they need photographed and whatnot. Like, happy to help out. Like,
you could have a Lego Master at your wedding and not. Oh well, you have to pay for it, but not really pay for it. Like, it's value for money, right?
That's right. Experience of a lifetime.
That's exactly
investment
right.
And
investment. That's right.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us,
Dawei.
So we appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll put links down to Dawei's social media so you can like book him for a wedding and all that stuff. Follow him. Make sure you follow Dawei. He's doing some amazing work with Lego. I know it's been a bit weird. Look, he's got a...
this is not a paid advertisement at all.
But yeah, thank you so much, Dawei. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been like such a great experience and privilege being able to
Thanks,
come
man.
here.
I appreciate it. Thank you.